Good evening. It's Monday, the 4th of August, and here's what's making news around the world on World News Tonight. Trade impact. Mixed reactions emerge across the US to President Trump's new tariff plan affecting multiple countries. Maritime tragedy. Dozens of migrants perish as boat capsizes off Yemen's southern coast amid rough weather. Healthcare bond. Pregnant nurses at Pennsylvania hospital form deep friendship while navigating pregnancy together.
From Colombo, this is World News Tonight with Prithika Sivakumar.
Good evening once again. President Trump's new import tariffs on countries including Canada and Brazil will take effect this week, prompting US consumers and small businesses to prepare for higher prices on goods and services, amid growing concerns over economic impacts and trade tensions.
Bracing for trade war impacts as new tariffs set to go into effect Thursday.
This is truly the dawn of the golden age of America.
President Trump's new import taxes now include Canada's 35% tariff and 50% on Brazil, which produces nearly 40% of the world's coffee. Bird Rock coffee roasters in San Diego relies heavily on beans from Brazil. They're working on a game plan, either pass the cost on to consumers or find beans from a different country.
Can I get 3 pounds of ground?
When tariffs were first announced, coffee drinkers started panic buying across the country. Some experts say school supplies are already priced and on shelves, but impacts will likely be felt months from now. This coming amid new data flashing potential warning signs for the U.S. economy. The president firing the labor statistics head hours after the release of a weak jobs report. Trump, without evidence, called the data rigged.
I believe the numbers were phony, just like they were before the election.
Americans now hoping for a tariff Hail Mary to avoid those impacts.
During an official visit to Pakistan, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian thanked Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif for supporting Iran amid recent Israeli and US strikes. Both leaders vowed closer ties and increased economic cooperation amid regional tensions.
Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian visited Pakistan on Sunday, where he was warmly welcomed by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif with a red carpet and guard of honor. During their joint press conference, Sharif condemned Israel's attacks on Iranian nuclear sites in June, affirming Iran's right to peaceful nuclear development under the United Nations Charter. Pezeshkian labeled the strikes as aggression and unlawful actions by Israel, calling for greater regional consensus against such threats. The two leaders expressed a commitment to deepen bilateral relations, with Pezeshkian previously indicating that economic ties could grow to $10 billion. Strengthening trade and investment is seen as a vital step amid geopolitical pressures, with both nations keen to enhance cooperation in energy, infrastructure, and regional security. President Pezeshkian also met with Pakistan's President Asif Ali Zardari, who hosted a dinner in his honor. The visit underscores Pakistan's strategic position as a mediator in regional conflicts and highlighting ongoing efforts to balance relations with key Middle Eastern players amid escalating tensions between Iran, Israel, and the United States.
Heavy rains have caused severe flooding and landslides in southern Taiwan, killing 4 and forcing over 5,900 evacuations. With more than a year's worth of rainfall in 1 week, emergency warnings remain as rescue efforts continue amid ongoing risk.
Southern Taiwan has been battered by unprecedented heavy rainfall over the past week, with some areas receiving over 2.6 meters of rain, exceeding the island's average annual total. This deluge has triggered widespread flooding and landslides, submerging rural homes and cutting off access to vital mountain roads. The Central Weather Administration has confirmed that this intense rain has had devastating impact on local communities, especially those in mountainous regions. Authorities report 4 confirmed deaths, with 3 people still missing and 77 injured since late July, when the heavy rains began. The continuous downpour, driven by depression and strong southwesterly air streams, has severely affected Taiwan's southern agricultural areas, threatening crops and livelihoods. Over 5,900 residents have been evacuated as emergency teams work to contain the damage and provide relief. While rainfall is expected to ease starting today, officials warn that the risk of flooding and landslides remain high in mountainous southern areas. Emergency services continue to monitor the situation closely, urging residents to stay vigilant and adhere to safety instructions as the region begins to recover from this natural disaster.
South Korea has begun removing loudspeakers broadcasting anti-North Korean messages along the border as President Lee Jae-myung's administration seeks to reduce tensions and restart dialogue, despite North Korea's recent rejection of peace overtures amid ongoing strained relations.
South Korean authorities started dismantling loudspeakers used for propaganda broadcasts targeting North Korea along their shared border today. This move aligns with President Lee Jae-myung's efforts to ease tensions and promote diplomatic engagement after his June inauguration. Shortly after taking office, Lee's government halted these broadcasts, marking a significant shift in inter-Korean communication tactics. Despite these conciliatory gestures, North Korea has recently dismissed South Korea's attempts to reopen dialogue, stating no interest in talks. The rejection underscores the persistent challenges in improving relations between the two countries. While Seoul seeks dialogue, Pyongyang continues to maintain a hardline stance, influenced by ongoing geopolitical and security concerns. The Korean peninsula remains technically in a state of war since the 1950 to 1953 Korean War ended with an armistice, not a peace treaty. Relations have further deteriorated in recent years amid military provocations and stalled diplomatic efforts. South Korea's removal of loudspeakers signals a strategic move to de-escalate conflict and potentially pave the way for future negotiations.
Let's go in for a short commercial break. More world news coming right after this. Welcome back. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to eliminate Hamas and rescue remaining hostages after the group released distressing videos of 2 Israeli captives. The US is also stepping up diplomatic efforts as humanitarian concerns in Gaza continue to escalate.
Palestinian militant group Hamas has released 2 videos of 2 Israeli hostages, Yeviatar David and Ram Bravslavsky. The video released by Hamas on Saturday showed David saying that he hasn't eaten for days and is digging his own grave.
מה שאני עושה עכשיו, אני חופר את הקבר, הקבר שמיועד מבחינתי לי, כי כל יום שעובר הגוף שלי הולך, נחלש, נראה רזה יותר וחלש יותר. מבחינתי זה נראה שאני בדרך למוות שלי.
The video of Ram Bravslavsky was released by Hamas on Thursday, showing the 22-year-old pleading for food, water, and rescue. Both men were abducted from a music festival by Hamas during the October 7, 2023 attacks. In response to the hostage video, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday vowed to destroy Hamas, adding that Israel is determined to free the hostages.
I am filled with even stronger determination to free our kidnapped sons, to eliminate Hamas, and to ensure that Gaza will no longer pose a threat to the state of Israel.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff met with families of hostages held by Hamas on Saturday. There, he told the families that Washington is working with the Israeli government on a plan that would effectively end the war in Gaza. The envoy also said that the militant group was prepared to disarm in a move to end the war. However, the group has repeatedly said it would not lay down its weapons. Witkoff is currently visiting Israel as the U.S. is facing mounting pressure over the worsening humanitarian conditions in the enclave.
Amid escalating conflict, Russia claims to have shot down hundreds of Ukrainian drones and missiles, while Ukraine reports intense fighting across the front. President Zelensky has appointed a new Air Force chief as both sides ramp up military operations.
Russia's defense ministry says its air defenses shot down 2 HIMARS rockets and 274 Ukrainian drones in the past 24 hours. It also claims strikes on 139 Ukrainian military sites, including drone bases, missile systems, and temporary troop locations, highlighting the growing scale of its offensive. Ukraine's military reported 138 clashes with Russian forces, repelling attacks in several directions. Ukrainian aviation and artillery hit 9 areas of Russian personnel and equipment, along with 2 command posts and a radar station. One Russian cruise missile and 178 drones were also intercepted. President Volodymyr Zelensky has named Lieutenant General Anatoly Krivenosko as the new commander of Ukraine's Air Force. Krivenosko, who served as acting head since August, steps into the role as Ukraine boosts its air defense and drone warfare capabilities in the face of intensified Russian aggression.
At least 68 migrants have died after a boat capsized off Yemen's southern coast amid rough weather. Most victims are believed to be Ethiopians. A major rescue effort is underway as officials warn of worsening migrant dangers along smuggler routes.
The tragedy unfolded off the coast of Yemen's Abyan province, where a vessel carrying around 157 migrants sank in severe weather conditions. Only 12 people were rescued while dozens remain missing. The International Organization for Migration confirmed that most of the deceased are believed to be Ethiopian nationals. A large-scale search and rescue mission has since been launched, with bodies found scattered along a wide stretch of coastline. Yemen has become a key transit point for migrants from the Horn of Africa, especially Ethiopia, Somalia, Djibouti and Eritrea, seeking work in Gulf countries. The IOM estimates more than 60,000 migrants have arrived in Yemen this year alone, despite its ongoing civil war and widespread instability. The organization warns that people smugglers are increasingly taking dangerous risks, often sending overcrowded boats through perilous conditions to evade patrols. In March, 2 similar vessels sank in the same region, killing dozens more. IOM Yemen chief Abu Sattor Essoev stressed the need for stronger international action to create legal migration pathways and better protections. He urged countries to reduce reliance on informal and dangerous migration routes by expanding safe and regulated alternatives. The IOM's Missing Migrants project has recorded over 3,400 deaths along this route in the last decade, with more than 1,400 attributed to drowning. As Yemen continues to grapple with internal conflict and humanitarian crises, the risk for migrants trying to cross its borders remain alarmingly high.
For the first time in roughly 600 years, the Karymsky-Krashenninko volcano on Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula has erupted. Following recent powerful earthquakes, scientists believe seismic activity likely triggered the eruption, which sent ash 6 kilometers into the sky.
The Krashenninnikov volcano on Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula erupted on Sunday, marking its first confirmed eruption in approximately 600 years. The eruption began around 6 a.m. local time, sending an ash plume up to 6 kilometers into the sky. The event followed a massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake on July 29th and was accompanied by a 7.0 magnitude aftershock, leading many scientists to suggest that seismic triggering had contributed to the eruption. While eruption intensity is decreasing, moderate explosive activity may continue. Scientists traced the last eruption to around 1463, with an estimated margin of error of plus or minus 40 years.
Time for a short break now. We'll be right back with more world news. Welcome back. At Lehigh Valley Hospital in Pennsylvania, 8 float nurses who rotate through various emergency departments formed a close-knit support group after all becoming pregnant within months of each other, highlighting their unique bond amid demanding healthcare roles.
At Lehigh Valley Hospital in Pennsylvania, these nurses aren't just saving lives, they're starting the next chapter of theirs. 8 women, all working in the same hospital, pregnant within just a few months of each other. Their squad, called Prego Floats, a nod to their jobs as float nurses who float between hospital departments. It's even the name of their group chat.
We text almost every single day, whether it's something funny or just advice questions.
That support especially meaningful for Brittany Sabulski, whose path to motherhood wasn't easy.
I went through 3 years of infertility, so I have been getting shots at work for a very long time. So between all of them, Jenna and Molly, they have both given me multiple shots throughout the years.
The first-time moms getting invaluable advice from the veterans.
Definitely, all the support has been amazing.
And through those long hospital shifts and uncertainties of pregnancy, they had each other's backs.
I mean, obviously, having a child and the overwhelming emotional joy and all the emotions that come with this is one thing, but to know that there's these group of girls that are there to support you, whatever emotion you're going through.
And now they plan to continue the journey of motherhood the same way they started it, together.
An 18-year-old motorcyclist, Hayden Ireland, was injured in a crash when Emily Stark stopped to help after he called for assistance. In a touching moment, Hayden's mother, Mary Muscatello, later reunited with Stark to express her gratitude.
And for these moms, a bond they will share forever. When 18-year-old Hayden Ireland was riding home on his motorcycle in Vermilion, Ohio, he crashed into a deer and went over the handlebars.
And I probably sat there and bounced and tumbled up and down the road 20 times before I landed in the ditch.
With his phone knocked out of his pocket, he couldn't call for help until he saw headlights in the distance.
I took everything in me to climb out of the ditch with my broken foot and run into the road. And I'm like, they're not going to see me. If they see me, are they even going to stop?
But the driver became Hayden's hero. Emily Stark not only stopped, she jumped into action, even with her baby in the car.
There's a motorcycle. I think he hit a deer. Okay. He's in an ambulance.
After that night, Hayden's mom, Mary Muscatello, was determined to track Emily down to thank her.
You are an amazing person.
And now, with her son about to start college, Mary is cherishing every minute with him. And it's all thanks to Emily.
Always be willing to help, because you don't know what somebody's going through, and you can be that big change in someone's life that they really need.
And with that, we come to the end of today's edition of World News Tonight. With the hopes of seeing you again, I'm Prithika Sivakumar, and we'll leave you tonight with the visuals of thousands gathering for a Russian Street Circus Festival. Also, don't forget to send us your feedback through email at feedback.ad24english@derana.lk or via WhatsApp at 076-805-7933. Prashant Sagunavardhana will be joining you next with the Nightly Business Report. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.